So my name's Amanda Webb. You may know me from my other business, spiderworking.com, and I'm here along with Lorna Sixsmith, who you also may know. She's the Irish farmerette, and she has the business, of course, Right on Track. I almost forgot the name of it there, Lorna. And of course, you may have met the two of us. We do the Blog Awards Ireland together, and this is our other joint project, our online social media training company, We Teach Social. And our courses work, they're sent by email. So you get an email tutorial every single day. The course is between 1 week and 6 weeks long. You send in homework, which we review and we mark, and we give you personalized tips and suggestions. We also have a Facebook group, so if you participate in one of our courses, you can join in there, you can ask questions, and you can meet all the other people who are doing the course along with you. Today, we're looking at Facebook competitions and Pinterest competitions. I'm going to start off with Facebook competitions, and then Lorna's going to talk about Pinterest. And we'll have hopefully a little bit of time at the end to take your questions. You'll see a questions pane on the right-hand side within your webinar software, so you can input your questions there. If we can't answer them live, we'll try and do them in a follow-up email. So first up, Facebook competitions. The benefits, I'm sure most of you have run a Facebook competition by now, so you're aware of the benefits. And you probably also noticed that the Facebook algorithm means that when you post something to Facebook, it's reaching far less people than it used to. So one of the key benefits of Facebook contest is that it can help you push out your reach. You can reach more people. It also increases interaction, which means if somebody's interacting with your post, they're more likely to see posts from you again in the future. For me, what I love about Facebook competitions is it can generate qualified leads. So you can email addresses, you can even get phone numbers. I ran a contest for a client recently looking for phone numbers. I thought nobody would enter, knowing they had to put in their phone number, but it actually worked really well. And finally, you can increase page likes. So if you're just starting out, it's a great way to boost the number of people that like your page. So the rules, and this is probably the bit that confuses people the most. They changed the rules towards the end of last year, so it's not as strict as it used to be, but there's still a few things you can't do. And the first thing to know is you can't run a competition via your personal timeline. So if you have a friend page, you can't put up a photograph there and ask people to comment on it as part of a competition. It has to come from a business page, that's one you like. You can't ask people to share something on their personal timeline as part of a contest. So you know all those like and share competitions? You're not allowed to ask for that share because that means they're putting it on their personal timeline. You can't ask people to tag someone in a post or a photograph unless it is a photograph of them. So sometimes you might see a picture of at the moment it seems to be Ray-Ban sunglasses everywhere and people are getting tagged in them. That's against the rules too. And finally, you must include a disclaimer releasing Facebook from the contest and a specific wording around that. For some reason, that's not working. Excuse me. So the consequences, if you do break those rules, there's a few things that Facebook will do, and they're actually cracking down on this a lot more. And the first thing is Facebook may remove your post. And if they remove your post, they'll send you a warning as well. They'll tell you why they've removed your post. They'll tell you not to do it again. And if you persist in breaking those rules, they'll take your page down. And unless you're spending a lot of money, I'm talking like millions on advertising a year, it's highly unlikely you're ever going to get that page back. So just bear that in mind. And now they've also added an update to the Facebook posting algorithm, which is identifying posts that ask for a comment or ask for a share or ask for a like, and they're marking those as spammy. They think they're spam. So if they think some of the posts you're putting out on your page are spam, it means that in the future, they're going to show your posts to less people because they think you're not creating quality content. So that's really important to know about now. Okay, so Lorna, take a look at this competition. What's wrong?
Well, the obvious one is that they're asking people to like and share.
Yes, that's number one. There's actually three things wrong with this.
Okay, it looks like it's from a personal profile rather than from a page.
Yes, so it looks like Paul Ward's photo. He's sharing it from his profile page rather than his business page.
And the person has been tagged in it and he's not actually in the actual photograph.
Yeah, so three rule breakages there. And this one?
It's a like and share. Is that the only one?
That's all that's wrong with that one. And again, this isn't the only post from this page that's doing this, because they're doing like and share contests a lot. So if Facebook cop onto that, means they're going to lose their reach in, for the long term, which isn't good. But the nice thing is that even though you don't ask for a like and share, because there's so many rule breakers out there, people who enter your competitions assume they have to like and share your competition. So this is completely legit. It's a competition from the Harlequin Hotel in Castlebar, and they're linking to a place where you can enter the competition. But as you can see, people are liking and sharing and telling them they've liked and shared. So even though that competition is just 6 hours old, 4 people have liked and shared already. So they're getting a good amount of reach out of it because other people are breaking the rules, which is kind of clever.
And it's adding to the algorithm as well because they're commenting and telling them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so good news is the rule changes were good news for small business, because before that you had to run a contest through an app. Now, there's lots of things you can do that you weren't able to do before. So one, you can put a post up, you can ask people to like that post, or you can ask them to comment on that post to enter. Now, as I said, the algorithms change, so you do need to be a little bit selective about the language you use. You can ask people to upload a photograph either in the comments of your page, and I like that function, or on your page itself. You weren't able to do that until the rules changed. So you can have a photo competition via your Facebook page. And you don't need to use an app, although there are lots of benefits I'll be talking about a little while in how to, why you would run a contest via an app. So when you're planning your contest, I've just pulled out 4 points of planning a contest. In the course that I run on Facebook competitions, we go through a lot more than this, but these are the 4 main things that you want to look at and what we'll look at today. So firstly, you need to define your business goal. What is it you want to get out of the competition? Secondly, you need to decide on whether you want to run a timeline competition or one via an application. Thirdly, you want to think about how you're going to promote your contest. How can you get the maximum number of entries? And 4, how are you going to choose your winner? So on your screen, there's going to be a poll popping up right now. I just have to activate it. And I just want you to tell me what business goal you have in mind for a competition. So just take a quick look at that. Great, you're all voting. I love that. So, Lorna, have you ever run a competition on Facebook?
I ran one using an app about 3 years ago for my previous business, and actually ran a very quick one a couple of weeks ago on Irish Farmerette, where I was just, it was just taking a funny picture of the 2 pet lambs and just said, so whoever gives me the funniest caption will win a copy of my book. And I got a good few comments, must have been at least 20. Again, it was just a small competition, so I didn't push it that hard. And some of the comments were great, and I picked 2 winners. And again, I was sort of looking for more post interaction, I suppose, what I was looking at, to increase the people talking about it.
That's good. And I noticed actually you don't always have to give away a prize. I know Dublin Zoo do that on a weekly basis. They put up a photo that one of their fans has taken of an animal, and they ask people to caption it, and it's always great interaction on that. Right, I'm going to close the poll, and let's have a look at the results. So 18% are saying that you want to get more reach on your Facebook posts. 36% of you are tied, more page likes and lead generation. I'm glad you're thinking about lead generation. And 9% more post interaction. So it's clear for getting the more page likes and lead generation, you're really going to be looking at an application, but we'll talk about that in a little while. Okay, so the advantages of running timeline contests. Now, timeline contest is when you put a photo up or something up and you ask for a comment, like that caption contest you were talking about. So the advantages of that, firstly, brand awareness. So every time somebody likes a post or comments on a post, you're pushing that out to more people, because you'll see it appearing in your newsfeed on Facebook, so-and-so likes this post from so-and-so. So a small portion of that person's friends are going to see every time that they like something or comment on it. And secondly, you get that interaction. So you're getting people to see more of your posts in the long term, which is a benefit now on Facebook when we're finding it harder to reach people. The disadvantage is that short term. Yeah. If people just comment on one of your posts, it's not going to have a huge effect on them seeing them in future. You need to have people continuously commenting and liking to guarantee that they see things in the future. And also, you can't guarantee that people are going to like your page in order to enter. And it's actually really hard to work out if somebody has liked your page to enter. Whereas with a app-based competition, you can do that. Here's some examples. So this is one from a radio station, and I've no idea who these are. If you know who it is, you can leave me a comment in the text box there, in the chat box, because I'd love to know. Do you know who it is?
No, I haven't a clue.
So they basically, I'm sure it's a band, and they blanked out the faces of the band. If you guess who they are, you could win a free bus pass. This one I actually came across because they left a comment on our page, and I followed it through, and I saw they had this competition going. And it's a little Vine video or an Instagram video, a short video that they've shot, and it's a play on that how many sweets are in the jar. So if you play this video, basically what happens is they're kind of throwing sweets, a big kind of funnel of sweets at a jar, and you have to guess how many end up in the jar at the end. I think it's a real nice twist on a traditional contest. This one is a Mother's Day competition, and what I like about this is although they're promoting it on Facebook, you actually have to go and do something in the shop. So people have to physically come in with their photograph, display it in the window, and then somebody's going to win a prize on Mother's Day. Very clever one from Pixback.com. I don't know if you can read that on your screens. They're giving away this camera, and the person who manages to comment, the first comment that they get that has no likes on the comment by the end of the week wins the prize. So people are going to get really competitive over this because, of course, you post the comment, somebody else is going to like it because they want to win. Yeah. So it's really down to the wire who manages to get that last one in before the end.
And if you can see that they've had 108 shares on it as well.
Yep, 108 shares and just 6 hours in 6 hours. So, I mean, that's a really good competition. And another pharmacy, and I just like this, coming up to Christmas, and they're having a bit of fun as well. They're not just asking for a like to enter, they're asking people to participate. And you have to come up with your favourite mammy quote in order to win the prize. And you can see people are putting some funny ones up there. So it's great for their interactions, and it's also making people think a little bit more about the brand before they enter. And finally, from a big brand, I just thought I'd show you this. I kind of discourage people from running video contests because you're asking people to do so much in order to enter. But I think Coca-Cola, obviously, they have a hugely engaged audience already, so it wouldn't be hard. But what they did was to tie in with their sponsorship of the Winter Olympics, they put up challenges every day on their page, and people had to shoot a video of the challenge. So this one is based on hurling. As in, is it hurling? Curling. Curling. I was thinking I got the wrong word. So to celebrate the curling championship, they asked people to slide a can of Coke up a counter and film themselves doing it. And they had a different event every day. So it became, part. And the prize isn't big. It's just €100 gift or $100 gift card. So it was just a bit of fun, really. Yeah. Okay, so app-based contests. And if you do the course, I take you step by step through how you can set this up. So it's not as complicated as you might think. The advantages of running a contest through an app. So these are the ones that would appear as a tab on your Facebook page. You can get those qualified leads that you'll want. You can get the email address, you can get the phone number. You can even ask some more information about people so that you're getting your targeting right. And if you use a Facebook ad to promote it and target that right, you're absolutely getting the right people, not only to like your page, but as leads. You can get more page likes because you can fan gate it, which means before someone likes the page, they see an arrow prompting them to like the page. And then when they like it, it will reveal the entry form. And although you can't ask for a like, you can certainly, through an application, suggest people share. Sorry, you can't ask for a share, but you can suggest people share. So there's an old pop-up window within ShortStack, which is the one that I use, that you can configure that will encourage people to share your competition. And most people do. The disadvantages is it's complicated to set up, although if you do my course, it's really easy. There's a higher barrier to entry. It's not as easy as somebody just leaving a comment on a post or clicking the like button. So you'll get less entries, but they're obviously more valuable. And you'll need some budget in most cases. If you have a small page, a small number of likes, I think it's under 2,000 likes. And if you're just running a basic competition, you can do it for free on ShortStack. But if you want to get a little bit more complicated, you may need to pay. But ShortStack's just like $30 a month. So you can just buy it for 1 month. So your competition could just cost $30 to run, and you could get a couple of hundred leads out of that. So it's actually really cost effective. Here's an example of one run by James Whelan Butchers. Now, this isn't fan gated. Anyone that likes the page, or anyone, can enter this, and it's good for lead generation. He's given away a €100 gift voucher. You just put in your name, your email address, your phone number, and you can tick the box if you want to receive their newsletter in future. So it's a good way for him to capture new people into his newsletter. This one from Sports Direct. Now, this is fan gated, so this is what you will see before you click the like button. And when you click the like button, I didn't manage to screen cap it all, but this is what you'll see. You'll see how you can enter the competition, and below that is a form where you enter the competition. And what's interesting about this is you upload a selfie of you wearing an England top, I think, and it's actually a voting contest. So you have to get all your friends to come in and vote for your photograph in order to win. So you're getting a lot more interaction coming in from new people and attracting new people into the page and the brand. And of course, they can't see the voting mechanism unless they like the page. Yeah. So it's a good way to get new people onto the page. And this one from Lego Duplo, I was showing this to Lorna earlier and she couldn't believe I didn't tell her about it.
I would have definitely ventured.
So this was to win a trip to Legoland. So it's a pretty decent prize. So the barrier to entry is higher, but I think you're getting such a good prize in return that people would go for it. So basically, you need to shoot a short video of your children playing with Lego. And again, it's a voting contest. So people would vote for their favourite ones. So again, they're getting a bit of buzz going around their brand. And the third way you can run a contest that I haven't mentioned as yet is to run it off-site. So that means you could run it by your blog or your website and you just promote it on Facebook. And of course, there's advantages to that. You're going to drive traffic to your website. You'll avoid any issues with Facebook, so don't need to worry about the rules because you're not running it as part of Facebook. The disadvantages is there's a higher barrier to entry because people have to leave Facebook, and particularly if they're on a mobile and they haven't got good internet access. I'm sure you have this problem. You click the link and you'll be waiting there 5 minutes to get onto the page. And also, I'm saying there's no Facebook benefit, but in this example from Done Deal, again, they're running the contest on their blog. If you have a look, they've got 138 shares, 372 people like it. And again, people assuming they have to like and share. So they're doing that as well.
Getting lots of comments too.
So again, there may not be any direct, you wouldn't imagine there would be a Facebook benefit from it, but you are getting your interaction and your shares and your likes as well. Another example is from HB Ice Cream, and they want to do a customer survey. And of course, nobody's going to fill in a survey, just, might get a pop-up window on a website. I think people always close those. So this is a great way to promote it. You can win a €100 one for all voucher. And if you're based outside Ireland, that's just like this brilliant voucher you win. You can use it and spend it in loads and loads of shops across Ireland. They're great gifts to get. And you just have to go and fill in their survey. So it's a good way for them to do a bit of customer research as well. Okay, so time for our second poll of the day, and I get to click the button again. And this time I want to know, if you were to run a contest after today, what sort of contest do you think you'll run? Have you ever run a app-based content, Laura?
I did one for Garen Denny Lane, a previous business. I used short stack, and like you mentioned, I did the 30 days, for $30.
Yeah.
Short stack, and yeah, it worked well. Do you know what I mean? It did. I remember asking you about how to do it, so I needed your your expertise, because I have to admit, when I went in, it did look difficult, but once you explain it, it was easy enough to do.
Good. Okay, so not all of you have voted, but a lot of you have voted. I'll just give you a couple more seconds. Press that button.
63% have voted, yeah.
Okay, I'm closing the poll now. 67%. Okay, let's have a look at those results. Okay, so 78% of your timeline, and I guess that's obvious, although that doesn't really relate to what you said your business goals were. And I'm imagining, and you can tell me in the comments or the chat box there, I'm imagining that's because it's just harder to set up your app-based contest. And obviously you can go away now and set up a timeline contest if you want. It's that quick and easy. Okay, so moving on. Promoting your contest is the next stage. So you can't just put it out there and expect people are going to enter. It's not as easy as that. Sometimes you'll be lucky and you'll suddenly get loads of entries, but you really want to guarantee that. Now, there's a huge amount of stuff you can do to promote it. And sorry to say it again, but I cover it in the course. I can't cover it all in a 20-minute webinar. But you can ask for input before the contest. So start asking people, what prize will we give away, and give them some options. You know, should I give away a car? Should I give away? Okay, I'm exaggerating, but it makes people feel more part of the contest, so they're more likely to take part in it. Tell people that you're going to launch a contest and tell them when. And you can even do something like a countdown. So each day you could put up, obviously you'd need a decent prize to be promoting it that much, but maybe 5 days to our contest, 4 days, 3 days, 2 hours, 15 minutes. And it creates that bit of buzz around it happening. Seeding your contest. So this is trying to get the first few entries in, because once you get the first few entries in, it will gain momentum by itself. So if you have an email newsletter at all, that's a great way to get people from your email newsletter onto your Facebook page. So send them out, tell them a specific email about the contest, and that's a great way to get it started. Facebook advertising, as I mentioned before, because you can target so well with Facebook ads now, it's a really, really great way to get exactly the right people to like your page and exactly the right people to enter your competition. And remember, you're getting more than just them liking the page if you run it through the timeline contest. You're getting them to give you your emails as well. We did one for We Teach Social, and we got very, very few entries, but we got a huge number of people liking the page. So that was really interesting as well. And obviously you can share on all your other areas, on Twitter, on Pinterest, on your blog, any social media that you're using at all. Promoting the contest. So during the contest, you want to promote it with different styles of posts. I think a mistake, and I'm going to show you a whole lot that just use one type of post. A mistake a lot of people put is always putting an image up. And there's certain people that just don't see images, or they don't see as many images in their newsfeed. So sometimes share the link to your contest as just a plain link. Sometimes share it as a status update. And you need to be doing that multiple times. You can't just put it up once. And depending how often you post on Facebook, you might put it up 3 times a week, or you might put it up once a day, just to constantly remind people that it's running. If you are using images, make them strong images, not just some big text in your face thing, because people view that as an advert. So when they're scrolling through their newsfeed, they just scroll straight past that. You know, the same way that we fast forward through the ads these days on the TV, same process. And again, using Facebook advertising to promote your contest. So here's some examples of people promoting them, and these are all ones I've picked from earlier as well. So that's your Wear with Pride selfie competition, and they're just sharing it via a photograph, and they're putting the link in the description of the photograph. And another one from the same company, and this one you had to tell people what their personal best was, and they've got a link into the competition, but you'll see here, yes, people are entering and saying what they're not going to be able to win if they enter there, but you're still getting the interaction going. This is the one promoting that James Whelan Butcher competition. Again, linking through, but there's a really nice image there. I mean, it's a really striking image. If you're into your food, that's going to capture attention on the newsfeed. And the Legoland one, which Lorna missed. And as you can see, they're getting loads of interaction on that. I mean, the whole idea, I would like to go to Legoland. I don't even have children. So, you know, that would appeal to me. And it did appeal to me. That's when I grabbed it, when I saw it on my newsfeed. And the next stage, so you've had your competition now, it's been a huge success, you need to choose a winner. And there's 3 ways you can choose a winner. The first one is shooting a video. Just a short video, something like Vine or Instagram video that you can shoot on your phone is sufficient. And I'll show you an example of that in a second. You could share an image, or you can use an app. Preferably, I would use one of the first 2. So you draw an image out of a hat, you draw your winner. Sometimes it's just easier to use an app, particularly on a timeline competition, because it's very hard to collate the entries yourself. So this is a short Instagram video I used for the local boutique who ran a competition, and we drew it via video, and you can just see in the comments here that people are really delighted about the way we drew the winner. People are just very cynical about who wins. So here, well done, Baronessa, the first shop to do this live. The amount of times we like and share competitions for Facebook and never hear of the winner. Priceless, best winner announcement ever. So people were delighted with that. They weren't just delighted with the competition, they were delighted with the way they drew it. And this one you saw earlier as well, and they've shared an image and they shared the name of the winner here, and it does make it look a little bit more legitimate than just if you put up a name. And there's 3 apps here, and I go into these in more detail in the course. ShortStack, and although you don't have to pay to use ShortStack, you do need to pay to use their winner picking part of their application. Woobox you can use for free and it'll pick a winner from a timeline contest. The same with Facebook Karma. Right, so just to tell you a quick bit about the Facebook competitions course before I move on to Lorna. You're going to learn some of what we've covered today, but far more than that, obviously. We're going to look at how you can plan your contest, how you can create the effective timeline and app-based contests, and I'll be asking you to create one of each as part of the course. I'm going to help you choose what style of competitions you should be running, how to choose the best sort of prize, how to promote your contest, how to choose your winner, and how to measure your results. And if you're attending this webinar, we're going to put up right at the end of the webinar, or you'll get it in the follow-up email, the discount code to get 50% off that course or any of our courses with We Teach Social. Over to Lorna.
Thank you. I'm going to be talking about Pinterest contests. As you probably know, if you've been using Pinterest, the whole ethos of Pinterest is having fun and getting inspiration from pins, from images that are beautiful or useful, that they tend to be quite striking. And here I've paraphrased William Morris's quote. I've said, have nothing on your Pinterest boards that you do not know to be useful or believe to be beautiful. If you use that principle when you are pinning or when you're using contests, you really won't go wrong. Here is an example of a beautiful pin. Common theme, interiors. You can see it's doing well on Pinterest. It's had 278 repins. And here is an example of a useful pin. It's about tips. So anyone who looks at that knows they can click on that pin and they'll be brought to the article that will give them the 8 financial tips. And you can see it's had a whopping almost 1,300 repins, 1,300 shares. Okay, so images don't have to be beautiful to do well on Pinterest, but they do have to prove also, or else, that they are going to be useful to the target market. Before we go into it, we're going to have another quick poll. Have you ever entered a Pinterest contest?
Lorna, I have never entered a Pinterest contest. Click, people, click.
What I'm finding, I'm going to talk about the rules about Pinterest contests in a moment, is that lots and lots of businesses are actually breaking the rules for Pinterest contests because Pinterest changed the rules recently and they've become more strident. So we've had 72% of people have voted.
And 86% of you, actually 100% of you have never. Let's have a look at that. 100% of you have never entered a Pinterest competition, and that doesn't surprise me because they're not as prevalent as the Facebook ones. But 11% of you would like to. Okay.
A lot of businesses are promoting their Pinterest contests on Twitter. Actually, I've noticed them doing that.
No, I have to keep an eye for that.
So first of all, I'm going to look at why should you run a Pinterest contest? Well, the obvious one is that if you want to grow your followers, you can ask people to follow your Pinterest account as a matter of entering the competition. You're going to expand your reach, particularly if people happen to be repinning your pins or pinning from your website. You can't ask them to do that, but it's likely that they will. So your reach is going to grow. Another good idea is to increase your email subscribers, and I'll explain how to do that in a moment. Now, obviously, if you're expanding your reach and growing your followers, you're also going to grow the traffic to your website, and that should, in turn, increase sales. The research shows that Pinterest users spend much more than when they're on Facebook than Facebook users. So this is stuck again, Amanda. Now, just to go into the rules for Pinterest, there's a few of them. You can't stipulate the number of pins that you ask people to pin. You can't say to them, you need to pin a minimum of 10 pins. Or you've got to say, it's got to be more than one, and that's it. You cannot tell them where to pin from, so you can't suggest you could have to pin from my website. You'll see a lot of Pinterest contests calling it a pin it to win it contest or pin to win. You cannot do that either. Similar to Facebook, you can't suggest that Pinterest sponsors or endorses you or your business or the actual contest. They're also against sweepstakes that suggest that votes or comments or follows all represent an entry. You have to get the people to actually do something and preferably have fun. And also, because people prepare a graphic to advertise or to showcase the Pinterest contest on Pinterest, people do tend to repin it, because I would repin something if I thought my followers would like to do it, but you can't actually ask people to do that. There are consequences, just like Facebook, there are consequences if you break the rules. One of them, this sounds a bit scary, I have to admit, but there is legal action. Now, there was a case recently, the link is there if you want to click it later, but there was a case in the States where a company asked people to, as just many businesses do, ask people to create a board. The company did not ask them to write in their description that they were creating the board in order to enter the competition. So all you have to do to make sure you cover this is to ask people in your terms and conditions that they do this. If they don't, it's up to them, but you should ask them to do so.
That was in the States, wasn't it, Lorna?
Yeah.
But pretty much if you were to get any entries from the States and you hadn't mentioned that, the same could happen. I'm not sure how they'd take it down if you're based somewhere else, but it is something to consider.
It's just something to bear in mind. If it doesn't look that professional, you're probably going to get less entries, or if it's a complicated competition, your reputation is tarnished, just as it is on Facebook, And Pinterest isn't taking action at the moment, but I'd say they will be taking action against, rule breakers in the future.
That's interesting as well, because Facebook have taken their time getting there, but now they definitely are.
In order to run a good competition, really what you need to do is remember that Pinterest ethos. You want people to have fun. You want people to be inspiring. It's all about rewarding quality, good images over quantity. You must explain how the winner is going to be judged. You cannot select a winner by random. So for example, you might say the most creative board. We're going to have some judges, and the most creative board will be the winner. Having clear instructions, so making sure that people understand that they have to create a board and that it should contain pins, and just give them an example. You might like to create a board as an example that they can have a look at, and you can bet then they're probably going to repin the pins that you've pinned as well. And above all, do make it fun. So first of all, what's wrong with this particular pin? Can you see it?
Straight away, pin it to win it.
Yeah, it's there. Big, bold, breaking the rules. This is a good competition that was actually launched before the rules changed. So just first of all, find out what's good about this particular competition. What do you think is good about this competition?
They're asking you to follow them, which you can do.
Yeah.
And, fill your board with spirit and get creative. So that's very clever as well, isn't it? And pin a photo of you in the best basketball gear. So it's all those things, isn't it? It's fun, it's entertaining, yeah.
And they're also asking people to use a hashtag. Hashtag that's personal to them. So it's two advantages. One is that they can monitor the progress of the competition, they can see how many people are entering as it goes through it. And the other advantage, of course, is that it arouses people's curiosity to see what it is. I can see at the bottom, they've got click here for the terms and conditions. So people can click through and see. Okay, it's the same one, but there's a couple of things wrong with it. Can you spot them?
Well, pin it to win it.
Yeah. And the third one, they've also asked people to repin this image as well.
Right, okay, and you can't do that, right. Okay.
How not to choose a winner, okay? Can you see that, Amanda? Where have they broken the rules?
The winner is the person with the most followers. That seems odd as well.
It does. It's very much suggesting the most popular person out there. It's a little bit like Playground.
So if you were Lorna, who has the most Twitter followers in Ireland, possibly she could just win every competition then.
Yeah, you have to, it has to be rewarding the whole Pinterest ethos of fun and inspiration and creativity, Okay, we've got another one here. Now, in this particular example, they've got a nice clear image and they've got the details underneath. First of all, can you see what's good about this in terms of good for the business as well?
Create a pin board and name, fill it with, I can see what they're doing wrong. I'm not going to mention that yet. Think landscapes, art, cocktails, pairs, and pairs, of course. So inspirational. Yeah,
they're giving them the examples already. They're not necessarily giving them the example of a board, but they're giving them examples, and of course you can follow them too.
Okay. Oh, apologies. I seem to have done something. I shall click it for you.
Thank you. And again, the same one, but what's wrong with it?
Well, I saw this before. Where was it? Fill it with at least 10. So you're not allowed to specify how many pins are there. Okay.
And they've also said a minimum of 3 must be from our website or our boards. Okay, you can't tell them that. And at the very end, it said repin this contest pin.
Oh, so they're doing loads wrong. And this is a new competition.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is an old competition, but the way I like it is because the design is so good. They've got a fantastic prize. Okay, I'll talk about prizes in a minute.
This isn't on Pinterest though. They've sent you from Pinterest to this form, have they?
This was the graphic on Pinterest as well. It goes also on their website. Yeah. Okay. But you click through to the website. But what I like about this, it's easy enough to enter. Put your first name, email address, Pinterest, put the link to your Pinterest board. They've pre-ticked the email newsletter sign up, so they're obviously looking to expand their email newsletter list. Okay, and to enter, you've got to create a board. Okay, they're telling you to pin up to 15 images, but this is before the rules changed, so they're fine. It looks good. And at the very bottom, they've got the official contest rules, so you can link to that.
It looks more legitimate when it's a form like that as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's very professional. Yeah, and this is another beautiful image as well. The best board. Okay, so already they're going to be rewarding the best board. And it also says create an insider travel guide to your hometown. So it's really encouraging people to support their hometown and to get enthusiastic about their own neighborhood.
And they're selling shades. When you think about shades, when you think about going on holiday as well. So you're helping promote your place as your town as a tourist destination. That's brilliant.
I think it's a lovely one.
Yeah.
And they've linked to their rules. Okay, this is just a screenshot from part of their rules and their terms and conditions. And as you can see, they are going to choose a winner based on the creativity and also whether or not you follow the rules.
So exactly, that's what Pinterest want. They want creativity.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Good. So that's an example of a really, really good contest. Okay. Here's another one I liked, because you might think, okay, Pinterest is all about beautiful images. This is one that's very plain. It's more or less text-based. It's very clear. Follow us on Pinterest, create your own board, pin one or more of your favorite quotes, include the hashtag, which again is a good idea. And they've asked them to follow. There's no stipulation on the number of pins, and all you've got to do is email them with a link. There's a couple of things they could do to improve. They could have linked to the full terms and conditions, and they could also state how the winner would be chosen. But it's a good competition.
Sorry.
And you can just see the number of repins they've got.
I was just about to say that. And considering it's not an attractive image, they're getting loads of repins. So that's brilliant. Yeah.
So just some tips on creating your contest. When you're asking them to create the boards, just remember, just to cover yourself legally, that you've asked them to declare that the board is part of the contest. Use a website page and spell out those clear guidelines. Okay. Good idea to have one of your boards and fill it with pins from your own website. It's
just
going to expand your reach
then for other people. Okay.
But people are bound to repin it.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
And use it as a guide. State how that winner is going to be chosen. And just to mention the prize, okay, it doesn't have to be high value, but I think try and make it aspirational. I love books. Okay. I would love to win, say, a hamper of books.
Yeah.
I would create a board. And if it was rewarding creativity, I would love to create a board full of books with the most creative and imaginative and colourful book covers that I could find. I would enjoy doing that, and I would enter it. And of course, as Amanda said with Facebook, share the contest on the other platforms as well. Share it on Twitter, Facebook, your blog, etc. Oh, sorry.
That was my fault.
What makes a good contest? So again, it's fun, it's enjoyable. Give a prize if people want to win. Make those guidelines clear and make sure it achieves your goals. Make sure it gets you those email subscribers, the more followers, and that'll lead to your increased sales. Just to talk quick now, the Pinterest course is just one aspect of the advanced course. It takes about 4 days of the advanced course, which is 5 weeks, 25 days. We look at how to improve your pins, both visually and in terms of the written text, in order to get more traffic to your website, in order to turn those browsers into buyers. I'll show you how to analyze your analytics and how to use some Pinterest tools, for example, scheduling. As I mentioned, we'll look at the contests. We'll also look at rich pins, article pins, recipe pins, etc., place boards. And ultimately, we're going to look at how you create your Pinterest strategy. So you're armed going forward in terms of using an excellent Pinterest really to your advantage.
And just signing off there, sorry, we're running slightly over schedule. Please do send us your questions. We'll answer them by email. That's the discount code that you need from our website. We'll send you the link to all our courses. You get 50% off any course just for attending today. And thanks so much for coming. It was brilliant to have you. And hopefully there'll be more webinars in the future.
There will.
And let's just hope all our technology works. We are recording this, so we'll be putting it up on YouTube later on this week, and we'll be sharing the slides on SlideShare. Thanks again for coming, and we'll see you again.
Bye.
Bye.